Hello, my name is Latrice Moore. I am the Executive Director of Student Success. I think working with all of the teams is a lot of fun. First, I'll start with the fun because when you get a group of diverse minds, perspectives, different areas, areas of whether that be of passion or just things that you would like to see when it comes to large scale or even small scale events or programs, it's nice to hear what everyone likes to bring to the table. And I think being able to collaborate and think outside of the box and be able to build something, create something, improve a process or a program is a lot of fun. I mean, and I'm kind of like a nerd like that. That's my type of fun. You know what I mean? That's what I think about Friday night. Next week I'm going to be meeting with X, Y, and Z, and we're going to be planning bam, boom, bam, lots of things. And so I would start with that. The next thing that I would say is what it requires. And so when you're working with a lot of different perspectives, different people across campus, whether that be faculty, staff, or students, something to be mindful about is being able to actively listen, which is really huge. And so we all have our own perspectives about how something makes people feel or what this program should have others learn from it, etc. And so being in a space that's fun where you're able to share out that information is great, but also making sure that we're listening to each other, I think, and that requires a lot of active listening. And so just being mindful of that when working with different types of people or groups, it's best to do that as well. And also I would say having levels of empathy and respect as well to those differences and what folks are bringing to the table. That is also something that I think is necessary for collaboration. I think mainly my expectation for my teams is truly being able to be really authentic and knowing that we're a team within a team. And so what does that mean? It's, hey, this is a space, and I will help to facilitate a space, especially when we're in our team meetings and things like that, where we can be very authentic, transparent, and open with each other about things that are going really well and maybe things that require a little bit more time and attention. And so I respect the perspectives and the life experiences and the work experiences that each member of my team brings collectively to a table. And so as long as we are able to lean in on those things and learn from each other is something that I foster when we get together. And that's an expectation that we're going to come to a space where you feel comfortable with being able to be transparent, authentic, walking away knowing that we're trying to learn from one another. Because at the end of the day, we're here to serve our students. And so why not utilize or leverage all the resources that we have to be able to do just that? Pushback is huge. I agree. I mean, I say I agree in the sense of I recognize that everyone's not going to agree when it comes to collaboration sometimes. And that's unfortunate because I feel like this was actually mentioned to me a few weeks ago, talking about compromise and what collaboration is. And so compromise, parties walk away, someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. Whereas collaboration is all folks around the table are feeling like they've won or they're walking away with something. And so whenever we get to a point of contention where we're in a win-lose type of situation where folks might see this as more of a compromise and not necessarily a collaboration, I think it's just a moment of pause to kind of check in to see if there's anything that we can do to make parties that feel like maybe that they're losing feel more involved in the decision or how we're moving forward. And I'll be honest, there are times where it's no, unfortunately, this is kind of just what we have to do based off of a list of other factors. But when we do have that flexibility when making decisions or when collaborating, to take a moment to pause to ensure that everyone is good with how we're going to move forward in our collaboration, I think is something that I have to keep at the forefront of my mind, because there are times for pushback. And so again, if we are active listening, having levels of empathy and respect. When there is pushback, I think it's easier to circle back when this whole time we have been collaborating in a space where we're respecting each other. And so, yes, pushback happens, but I think that there's a way around it if you are leading with care, showing curiosity, respect, and empathy overall else. So, yeah. It's okay to be nervous, but I think centering or hunkering down on your why and how important your voice is. And sometimes, like I said, we all have different experiences and things that we bring to the table, strengths, our own different passions. And that is something that I encourage students not to be quiet about. If this is something that you're really good at, if this is a strength, if this is a passion, if you feel like this is something that is going to benefit others because you're able to bring that said talent to a space, be on fire about that and share it. And so if you're nervous, it's okay to be nervous, but finding your own way to flip the switch to be like, okay, I have a voice. This is the why I have joined this group to be able to collaborate. And this is how I feel like my voice is vital and important to be able to help others. So I'm going to speak up. And maybe sometimes it's not even as verbal, right? Maybe you need to write something down, or you need to, send an email of your thoughts. Finding different ways, I think being able to communicate is probably more ideal for figuring out what your style is going to be and how you go about doing that. But nonetheless, your voice needs to be heard in some form or fashion. So I say, speak up, kick the nerves to the side, and go in and do the best that you can. Wow, it's hard because Be Well just can't do anything wrong in my eyes. Let's think. My favorite thing about Be Well, let's be honest, QB. Come on. Because sometimes QB be looking at me. I don't know if it's just me, or it probably is just me. But I do recognize he has other fans across campus, so that's fine. But yeah, QB is my favorite thing. He just brings out so much joy, I think, in other in me, but also students as well. His spirit is really well. I mean, he's always checking in on me about my wellness, giving me really awesome tips to check in, and I love that, love that. So that would be my favorite, outside of all the additional programs and, the staff. My favorite thing about HSC, I would say that my favorite thing about HSC is its emphasis on really striving to help people connect to the values. That's my favorite. And I just think the intentionality around ensuring that folks find their own way to feel connected to those is pretty awesome. So I would say that was my favorite.